Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa. Please sit down, stay cozy, because today we are gonna make seitan. You see this bath and you might be a little bit freaked out about it, but don't worry, let me show you the seitan. I'm just gonna strain the water. I'm reserving the liquid because I think this week we will still gonna make another batch of seitan, so I can just keep the water because the water has flavorings. Let me show you. This is seitan. Seitan is made with flour. In this case, I made it with normal all-purpose flour. You can make it with bread flour. You can make it with vital wheat gluten. But if you make it with a normal flour, you're gonna need to do and follow the method that I use, which is the washed flour method of making seitan. Seitan is like 100% gluten. So the gluten that is in your flour, if you wash it enough, you will then have the seitan strips. The process is really easy, so I'm gonna ask you to sit down, get cozy, and I'll see you at the end. Let's make seitan. I'm gonna give you all the measurements right away, so you don't need to be going around and trying to find your wit's end. You're gonna need 600 grams of flour and 375 milliliters of cold water. We're gonna need this for 15 minutes. You can use your kitchen counter and knead it with your hands. You can use a kitchen aid. You can use your smeg, whatever you want, but you need to knead the dough for 15 minutes. Afterwards, we're gonna let this bad boy marinate in cold water for some hours. We come back and we're gonna start washing. It's a really simple process. After you wash all the starch, then you boil it for 2 hours and you have your seitan that looks like chicken. This sounds really easy, and it is. It just takes some time, but let's get started. I'm gonna use a normal flour. This seitan has no exciting flour, nothing. So 600. It's completely covered in cold water because it's easier to develop the flour like that. It's not because it's easy or anything. I'm sorry, misspoken. It's because it has to be covered in cold water. Let's not forget that. So I've covered it until the top in cold water, and I'm gonna let it sit in this bath for 1 to 2 hours. I'm gonna make maybe 1 hour and a half, just so I can go to bed at a suitable time. Well, it's been 2 hours. It's time to start washing our dough. You're gonna see the dough is quite stretchy. Our goal is to separate the flour from the gluten. You can see now the color of the gluten will be yellowish, and you will see that the flour is white. Some people keep the remaining of the water, and you can make pasta with it or whatnot. I am using cold water. Don't give up. You gotta keep going. You might think right now, oh, I think it's done, I don't need to wash anymore. Keep going. You want the water to be less muddy, and also the flour that you don't separate from the gluten, you will be seeing it once it's cooked. So there's no way of cheating. The good thing is all of this takes roughly 4 hours in total, but the only amount of work that you actually have to do is the washing of the flour, because everything else, if you have a standing mixer, you're perfect. You don't need to worry about using your hands to knead the dough. You're gonna last time. See, the water is much less murky, right? And that's what we want. Just a reminder again, I'm just using cold water, not using warm water. This is cold. Warm water will start doing things to the dough that you don't want. See, this is the color of our seitan. Looks like chicken, I think. Well, I don't know. Now we're good. I'm gonna let the dough sit for a bit and rest in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just to make sure that we can work the gluten more. So this is it. We have separated the gluten. I'm gonna let it sit here. Now it's time to make our braid and cook our seitan. I have here the seitan. I'm just gonna put it in the kitchen cutting board. You can see the dough is stretchy. Seitan is a weird man. So I'm gonna stretch it, and then I'm gonna cut this into 3 strands, and we're gonna braid those strands. We're gonna do a normal braid. Okay, so you stretch it, and now we braid it. The braid will add resistance to the dough, okay, because you want some resistance. Okay, and now I am gonna create knots, extra resistance. The tighter your dough is without breaking, the better. Okay, I think 2 knots is enough. Yeah. Okay, so here I have my pretty tiny dough. Oh, the things you can do with flour is absolutely crazy. And it's time to make our broth to cook. The bowl the seitan has been soaking and stretching and washing, because there's nothing worse than dried flour on your. I will make the broth now, so I'm gonna pick up my pot. We're gonna put some water in it, cold water. So far we have only used cold water, and with this I'm gonna add all my flavorings, which will consist of bay leaves. I know some people think bay leaves do nothing to the food, but that's not true at all. In my opinion, bay leaves does make food taste amazing, and that is a flavor to it. Although several people claim that bay leaves have no flavor. And I'm also going to use a meat sauce. It's a vegan meat sauce, so I will add it here. I think this is roughly 1 teaspoon. Okay, that floating looks quite weird. Wow. I would normally add liquid smoke, but we run out of, so no liquid smoke for us. That's it. Once the water starts to simmer, this will also disintegrate and just make the sauce taste like broth. And we're gonna simmer all of this. You want to make sure that your broth does not boil up, because you don't want to cook your seitan too fast. You want to make sure that your seitan is simmering for the next 2 hours. So my stove is from 0 to 9, so I'm putting the stove at 4, and add the lid on top. The seitan is ready, so now I'm just gonna let it cool down, and tomorrow morning, once it's completely cold, I'll take it off the fridge, and then we can make something delicious with the seitan. But this is pretty much it for the moment. Please do not touch it, do not make anything. Let it cool down and then transfer to a container where you can keep it in the fridge. have no idea. And this is the next day. We have our seitan completely rested and it's ready to be shredded, and then we're gonna make fajitas. Doesn't it look like it looks like chicken breasts? I guess the shredding thing that people get, like the shredding machine to shred a chicken, would be useful now because my hands are so cold. Because the tofu came from the seitan came from the fridge, so my hands are so cold. This is it. This is your seitan, completely shredded, and we're gonna make fajitas. Fajitas is pretty much stir-fried with a lot of peppers, a lot of onions, and then you have a spice mix. I bought a fajita spice mix, so I didn't have to struggle, but I suppose there are so many recipes online with fajitas on it. I think you will be fine. Yep, here, your seitan. If you just came for the seitan, this is your time to just sayonara. I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.